Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's our college football betting edition. It's currently Wednesday, the last day of November, November 30th. And as always, I am joined by, I shouldn't say as always, because usually we get together on a Tuesday, but today, because of some scheduling conflicts yesterday, we moved this to a Wednesday. But we're privy to have one of the best handicappers in all the country right now in Mr. Sean Higgs of picksandparleys.net. Sean, how are you, my friend? I hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, I can't complain. Nice Thanksgiving. I had a little winning weekend in college. Small again, college not as good as NFL. I'm treading water there at like 52%, just barely getting by. But NFL, I went 8-2 this weekend in NFL football. Just
You are a machine, my friend.
Yeah, NFL's been fabulous. It's been a good season.
Yeah, how about 90 and 50? Fabulous. That's what you are in the NFL. Picksandparleys.net, great site. I am on it as well as Sean. And Sean also has a mid-morning show, noon Eastern time, 7 days a week, that appears right on the homepage there at picksandparleys.net or their YouTube page. YouTube channel, I should say. And right now, I mean, I'm looking, we got like 27 handicappers or so, or thereabouts at picksandparleys.net. Do you know the exact amount, Sean? I think I'm in the right.
That sounds about right. Yes.
Yeah. So Sean, right now, number 3 overall for the year. That means all sports. Number 1 in college basketball by a landslide. Number 3 in the NBA. Number 9 in the NHL. Number 1 in the NFL at 90 and 50. No, and in Major League Baseball this past season, he only finished number 2. He's slacking off. So if you want one of the best handicappers in the country and you want his advice, picksandparleys.net, Sean Higgs, the guy's getting it done, folks. It's not bragging when you can back it up. You can find me at rbwins.com, rbwins.com. Coming off a 3-0 sweep in college basketball last night, the second 3-0 sweep of the early season. I don't give out as many picks as Sean does, but, I pick my spots and whatever works. If you're winning, no matter if you don't give out a big volume or you do, at the end of the day, it's about making money, folks. And you got 2 guys here that are doing so. My NFL right now, 58%. Since January 30th of last year, which was the Conference Championship week, carried right over into this season. Had a great NFL preseason as well, going at 8-4. My NBA right now, dating back to last year, 49 and 36 with my last 85, good for 58%. rbwins.com is where you can find me. And of course, Sean Higgs at picksandparleys.net. All right, let's get into our free picks. Comes in conference championship games to be played on Saturday. I'm going to take a look at the USF and Tulane American Athletic Conference Championship game, while Sean will take a big look here at the Kansas State and TCU game, a game with playoff implications. Sean, TCU just a 2.5-point favorite in this game against a 3-loss team in Kansas State. Seems like a fishy line. But boy, oh boy, TCU's got a lot to play for here, Sean.
Well, we said, we're just talking before we came on. I said, I don't see how TCU and USC should not be in. Like, how are you going to leapfrog 2-loss Alabama over a team that loses these teams are playing in their championship game. You couldn't make your championship game. Yeah. How do you, it's one thing if it's, a bye week and teams get back in. This is it. You weren't good enough to play this weekend. You should not be getting in this. You should not be getting in. I don't care what happens here. Short of one of these 2 teams getting run out by scores like 56-10, then you'd be like, wow, maybe they need to have some argument. Come on, This is ridiculous. I mean, TCU's undefeated. I mean,
let me be clear though. So what you're saying is, we discussed this off air, but you're even saying if either USC or TCU loses, they're still in, or
I think they should get in. Absolutely.
Well, USC will be a 2-loss team as well if that happens.
All right, and you're losing your championship game to a team that your first loss to this team was as time expired, they scored, and then they went for 2 instead of going overtime.
Yeah,
that's a bad that's okay. That's okay when Alabama loses like that. Oh well, it's that's okay when they lose like that to Texas or LSU, who could easily lose by 30 this weekend. We saw them against A&M not even show up. So please, come on.
But
I mean, this is
in your opinion, Sean, we're sitting down in the room with all the good old boys network voting on this. And you have a 2-loss team in USC. That's assuming they lost, okay? Which that's to me is not a great assumption at this point. But also, and you're gonna convince the panel that USC should be in ahead of Alabama. There's a lot of pressure on these guys.
yeah, they're going to say Alabama's a bigger program. And then someone should come back. You lost. We lose 2 close games to Utah.
Yeah.
Who was the Pac-12 preseason team
they
to win?
They're a top 10 team in the
they're a pretty good team. I mean, it's not like they're who are you gonna say? Ohio State? Ohio State, you lost by 20 at home to a team. You're not. I lost in a championship game by a couple points, maybe. Maybe they lose by a couple points. Maybe this is another game like they played the last time. How do you say no to that team?
You got blown out basically at home.
At home.
In a game that had playoff implications and Big Ten Conference Championship implications.
2 years in a row, I think Michigan got you here in slaughter fashion.
I don't understand, and again, we're getting off here, but I mean, it's worth the discussion though. I'm enjoying this. I don't understand the Big Ten. Why would you put Ohio State and Michigan in the same division is beyond me. You want to avoid that.
That rivalry.
Yeah, but it also costs the conference a possible 2 playoff bid. You know what I'm saying, Sean? So I don't know.
Well, let's be honest. They want to expand these playoffs. Yeah. I don't know why. Come on. There's only a handful of teams that are going to win. Maybe 4, maybe 2. How you're going to explain the playoffs? Why? So we get LSU, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Penn State if they're decent, Michigan, Ohio State. So you're going to get 7 of the 9 teams are going to be SEC or Big Ten teams. Come on with this nonsense. Stop it.
Yeah, but you know what? I can make the same argument that you put 66 teams in the NCAA tournament, and there's a handful.
Yeah, but they get a limit. They're by the Sweet 16, you got maybe one kind of team that was sort of good all year. Other than that, nobody's dancing into the championship game. Very rare.
So if we made it a 16-team playoff, let's go 8 teams. Let's start with 8 teams. You see, that's where we're going to have to agree to disagree. I think the expansion of the college football playoffs would be ideal. I think the excuse that the NCAA, which is one of the most corrupt organizations in sports, and close to the Russian government when it comes to legitimacy. I just think that, by expanding the field to at least 8, that it makes it more exciting. It takes away the teams that should have. Look, if Alabama's a 2-loss team, but you can't tell me that if they expanded 8 teams, certainly they would be part of the field.
Oh, yeah.
And
they'd be part of the field.
They are capable of beating any team in the country right now. I mean, that's my opinion. Now, whether they would do that or not, yes. I think where you're going with this is, a team that gets in and has no legitimate shot other than the record in a week schedule that they played. I get that. So, yeah,
but you're not going to get that though, because they don't give any respect to TCU. So why they're not going to give respect to anybody else coming out? They're not going to give respect to somebody coming out of the American again. They'll be like, no. Listen, LSU they might be 9-3, but they played in the SEC. So
that's exactly what it is. I mean, when all things are equal, they're going to revert back to the old SEC argument.
Yes, and then when they have Oklahoma and Texas in there, are you kidding me? It's going to be Oklahoma, Texas, LSU, Tennessee, Georgia. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I think it is getting ridiculous in terms of the way these conferences are being aligned right now. It's going to freeze a lot of teams out of any possibility and of getting to the college football playoff. And I think a group of 5 invitation, like we saw last year with Cincinnati, is going to be a dinosaur. It's going to be extinct. Well, Cincinnati even going to the Big 12, right? So. Anyway, getting back to your pick.
Let's go. I'm rolling TCU here. I know it's officially line 2.5. They just dropped 60 last week. Yeah. K-State, this is their first trip here since 2003 in a championship game. Now, Howard's taken over 5 games. He's looked good since taking over for Martinez. But I'm worried about the defense here, because when you're up 28-10 on TCU, and here they come, 38-10 final going away. This is an explosive offense. I mean, Doug is what, got 29 and touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
And we talked about him a couple weeks ago. This team just finds ways to win.
Yeah.
They just win games. And not only win games, they cover. There's no way they should be covering, and they're winning by 10 double digits. The stars just align, and I just think the offense is too much. KC defense, you blow a 28-10 lead. Okay, the quarterback's out. You still got to stop somebody. You got 28 points on the board. You can't make a stop in the second half of the game.
Yeah.
And you lose by 10. No, I don't think they. Again, what they put up 60 last week, TCU.
Yeah.
So you think?
I believe last week was the first time they won by more than one score all season long, if I'm not mistaken, or in conference anyway.
You know, but they put up points. A field goal, sure. I'll lay with TCU because they've just found ways to win. And when you find ways to win all over the place, it's just tough to go against that. I mean, they beat these guys once. The defense collapsed. I don't see their defense stepping up here.
How about it's 2.5 right now. I'm not sure what the money line is.
Yeah, probably about 130. Probably juiced up, right? It's going to be like
it's going to be more like 140. But I mean, what do you? I know how I feel about using the money line with a short favorite, and I've made that clear to the viewers on many occasions. Do you subscribe to the same philosophy?
Yeah, if it's 1.5, 2.5, and you're up into anything under maybe like 140. I don't like doing 140s in baseball, so I definitely don't want to do it in football.
Yeah,
so
I always say 135 or less, Sean.
That's about the top where I'd go. I got this early at like a 1.5 when this line initially came out with TCU, so I'm happy at that number because a lot of times the lines will come out, they won't have a money line up, so I'm like, what? If I'm getting 1.5, I'll jump on it now. I'm not going to wait because then it's going to be a 2.5 or a 3, and then that one's gone, and I'm worried about 10 cents. Nah.
Yeah, well, you get people who will tell you what's the chance of a game landing on 1 or 2. Well,
exactly,
it's a lot lower chance than any of the key numbers, no doubt about it. But how would you feel if you're laying 2.5 and you win by 1 or 2 and you have a losing ticket? Yep. I mean, because why? You were afraid to lay the extra 25 cents. Well, when you're following one of us, or you do your due diligence, 25 cents shouldn't mean a lot to you in that situation. And at the end of the day, the juice only counts when you lose, folks. So keep that in mind going forward. Sean definitely agrees with my philosophy on that. And I know a lot of other guys do as well. I mean, and then again, you get the guys who abuse it, and shame on you if you follow them, that are laying 160, 170 on NBA and college basketball picks. They're trying to steal a win. So just be careful, because money management's a big deal for both of us. And if you don't exercise proper money management and discipline, you're going to lose money. It's inevitable. All right, I'm going to look at the American Athletic Conference Championship game, a rematch between UCF and Tulane. These teams played just a few weeks back, with UCF coming away as a 38-31 winner on that day. And as a matter of fact, it was exactly 3 weeks ago to the day they're going to play. And quite frankly, I thought UCF was much the better team on that day. As a matter of fact, I had Tulane on that day, and I thought the final score of this game was not an indication in how UCF, I thought, dominated the game. The game went over that total of 54, and Tulane also lost at home to Southern Miss earlier this season as a 12-point favorite. My point is it's not like Tulane is invincible at home. They do have the home field advantage for the conference championship game. Obviously, they had the better record, or had the tiebreaker. I mean, I'd have to say better record, because the tiebreaker would be head-to-head. So this is only the second time all year that Central Florida has been an underdog. The other time was at Tulane, and I already told you how well they did in that game. And Tulane is also a very heavily bet side so far in this matchup, meaning 75% of the tickets and over 60% of the money has gone the way of Tulane. Yet this line is just right now, if I remember right, UCF is plus 3.5 going into this game.
Yep.
And, I don't know. I think that too much emphasis is going to be placed on the revenge factor. Tulane playing with revenge, Tulane playing at home. But again, I just think that UCF is just a better team in this matchup. I think they have more big game experience in their program, and that's going to pay dividends in this matchup. To me, this is a game decided by a field goal or less either way, Sean. So I'm gonna roll with UCF plus the 3.5, getting that extra hook off the field goal, plus the 3.5 over Tulane, and to beat them, or I would say they probably, in my mind, are going to win this game outright. Yeah. We'll take the points as an additional bonus. I won't get greedy.
I was gonna say it was 2.5 opener. I kind of like UCF based on revenge, right? Everybody's like, oh, revenge game. Tulane just beat Cincinnati. Oh, it's Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And then you had Central Florida. They were up, what, 38-10 or something? Yeah. Totally they were losing that game in the fourth quarter out of the blue. So that was a little flat spot for them. And Tulane's riding high. I say UCF probably. I do money line because it's either they're going to win this or I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be the 3. I don't think that the field goal will come into play really.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick with taking the 3.5, just in case you're wrong on the money
I could
line.
I've been wrong in college for sure. NFL, I'd say you're wrong, but NFL.
Hey, buddy, I hope you're right on the money line as well, because nothing's sweeter than picking an underdog and having them win the game outright. Okay, so UCF plus 3.5 over Tulane for me. And Sean, tell the folks who you have again and what you may have coming up this coming week.
Yeah, so TCU here. Actually, I got them. It's a premium play for me. I like them. I'm going to tell you to take them. As Ross mentioned, midday money, 7 days a week, 12 noon Eastern. You can find that also on the Winner Free Picks channel, YouTube. That's Picks and Parlays sister channel, but that's where it's always on there all the time there. So if you want to see a lot of college hoops, obviously I love college hoops this time of year. Not NBA and hockey I do put out, but nothing like college basketball. So I'll have college basketball and of course NFL. And we got our championship weekend and bowls coming up. I'm sure. Yeah. 3 weeks away from college bowls.
Yeah. It's an exciting time of year. That's for sure. With the holidays upon us, conference championship games on Saturday in college football, the NFL down to the final stretch where, we separate the pretenders from the contenders, and looking forward to the challenges that lie ahead. You could find me at rbwins.com and Sean at picksandparleys.net. Again, Sean Higgs likes TCU minus the 2.5 over Kansas State. If you can get minus 135 or less on the money line, that's the direction he'd like you to go. And I'm going to take the UCF Golden Knights plus 3.5 over the Tulane Green Wave. For Sean Higgs and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best of luck. Take care and God bless, folks.